I've suffered dreadfully, and no one cares.
Rubbish, Henry, snorted James. You don't work hard enough.
Henry was bigger than James, but smaller than Gordon. Sometimes he could pull trains, but other times he had no strength at all. The Fat Controller spoke to him too. You are too expensive, Henry. You have had lots of new parts and new paint, but they have done you no good. If we can't make you better, we must get another engine instead of you. This made Henry, his driver, and his fireman very sad. The Fat Controller was waiting when Henry came to the platform. He had taken off his hat and coat and put on some overalls. He climbed into the footplate, and Henry started. Henry is a bad steamer, sir, said the fireman. I built up his fire, but it doesn't give enough heat. Henry tried his very hardest, but it was no good. He had not enough steam, and he stopped outside of Edward Station. Oh dear, thought Henry sadly. I shall have to go away. Edward took charge of the train. Henry stopped and stayed behind at Edward Station, while Edward continued on with the train. What do you think is wrong, fireman? Asked the Fat Controller. The fireman mopped his face. Excuse me, sir, he answered, but the coal is wrong. We've had a poor lot lately, and today it's worse. The other engines can manage. They have big fireboxes. Henry's is small and can't make the heat. With Welsh coal, he'd be a different engine. It's expensive, said the Fat Controller thoughtfully, but Henry must have a fair chance. James will go and fetch some. When the Welsh coal came, Henry's driver and fireman were excited. Now we'll show them, Henry, old fellow. They carefully oiled all his joints and polished his brass till it shone like gold. So the fireman made it careful. He put large lumps of coal, like a wall around the outside, and then he covered the glowing middle part with small lumps. Psst, psst, you're spoiling my fire, complained Henry. Wait and see, said the fireman. We'll have a roaring fire just when we want it. He was right. Henry reached the platform, and the water was boiling nicely. He had lots of steam to show how much better he was. How are you, Henry? Beep, 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 whistled Henry. I feel fine. Have you a good fire driver? Never better, sir, and plenty of steam. No record breaking, warned the Fat Controller, smiling. Don't push him too hard. Henry won't need pushing, sir. I'll have to hold him back. Henry had a lovely day. He had never felt better in his whole life. Henry wanted to go faster, but his driver wouldn't let him. Steady, old fellow, he would say. There's plenty of time. They arrived early at the junction, too. "Where have you been, lazybones?" asked Henry. Thomas puffed in. "I can't wait for you dawdling tank engines like you. Goodbye." "Whoosh!" said Thomas Denny and Blair. "Have you ever seen anything like it?" Both Annie and Clarabelle agreed. They never had.